Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Antonia. I hope you guys are doing well. Today's video is slightly different as I am going to go through how I repaired my Louis Vuitton cracked vachetta leather on my mini HL handbag. And it has since been months since I've done this because I wanted to give you a thorough review on the COCONIX leather repair kit that I did use. So the video footage that you are going to see in the repair process was filmed back in May 2022 and it is now August of 2022. So it has been quite a few months since I've filmed that last process, but the reason why I wanted to do that was because I wanted to give you guys a thorough review and show you guys how the repair has held up. And then secondly, I didn't get this repaired at the store because one, back in like 4 or 5 years ago when I did purchase this bag, I paid like $350 for it. So it's a vintage piece. It's from 1997. This is the Louis Vuitton Mini HL and it just wasn't worth sending into Louis Vuitton to repair because 4 or 5 years ago when I did ask them how much it would cost to replace all the vachetta leather, they quoted me $650 Canadian, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. So I don't even know what the quote would be now if I were to go ask them to replace all the leather. And then secondly, I have a really bad experience with Louis Vuitton repairs. They always somehow like puncture a hole in my existing items or they scratch my items. So truthfully, I don't know what's happening with Louis Vuitton like repairs over there, but there's some clumsiness happening and it was like, it's never the fault of me because I always take really good care of my items. It's just always like defects that happen, first of all. And then second, I always take like thorough photos of what my item looks like before I send it into repairs because I just know these things happen, which is why I always like take pictures of before I send the item in. Anyways, regardless, I don't have an essay at Louis Vuitton anymore. He's since left. So that is why I have no one to back me up anymore. So that's why I just decided this piece was only $350 when I spent on it. It's really not worth sending in to repair all those things. And I really like the look of it being worn as well. There's just issues with the structure happening. So essentially I had cracking on these handles here and what I wanted to do was just fix that cracking. Essentially I needed to add some sort of I guess like some sort of like binding here so the weak spot wouldn't be weak anymore. Anyways, the footage that I'm about to show you was filmed back in May of 2022 and it is now August of 2022, and I just wanted to let you guys know that because I'm going to give you a review on what I think about the COCONIX product that I used. But let's go on to how I repaired it first. The reason I'm making this video is because my regular monogram one is in far worse condition. When I got it, the leather was very cracked, and as time goes on, the leather just keeps cracking. So I'm gonna try to get as close up as possible so you guys can see, but you can see the leather is really cracked here and really, not this one, but like this one like is majorly cracked, and on the other side there's a bit of cracking as well. I just don't want this cracking to get worse because now it just feels like this is starting to teeter back and forth and there's no structure to this handle here. So I'm going to attempt to fill in the gaps. I bought this leather and repair kit off Amazon. It was like about $30 and I've never used this before. I watched a couple videos on people repairing their couches with this because it's not a handbag repair kit, but leather is leather, if you know what I mean. So this is what it comes with. All these colors, so I can kind of color match it. One thing I have to note is that I have to be, and if you decide to like imitate this video, once again, I'm not responsible for what you do. I'm not a professional. Go seek professional advice or you can make your own decision, but I am not responsible for what you're doing. But I am going to be responsible for my own bag, of course. So I think because this is vachetta, so the more that time goes on, the leather will like darken as well. So I have a feeling that these like parts that I'm going to attempt to repair, they will not darken with this handle, if that makes any sense. So I think that's something to definitely think about. All right, so this is the best angle I can do for you guys. So I'm gonna try to keep this in line. I know it's smarter to just go to like Louis Vuitton and have it replaced, but once again, I told you, I'm not trying to get this replaced and have it done for too much. I also have this random Deborah Lippmann thing, so I might use this as well. Okay, first things first, they said to clean the area with rubbing alcohol. So I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, you may have noticed like lighting's changed slightly, but anyways, this side is more or less dry. This side is still kind of damp looking, but I think I'm just gonna go with it. I've sped this part up because it gets a little bit boring to watch me mix repair compound, but essentially I start with the tan base in order to give myself something that's closest to my handles there, and then I do initially use walnut and cream to add in a little bit more depth, but as I started mixing and adding a bit more walnut, a bit more cream, this is really trial and error for me. I realized that it did need a bit of yellow, and it also did need a little bit of white. So I do go back in and put a little bit of yellow here, and then I add in a little bit of white because I just felt like the color was too orange with the 3 bases that I had. When I finally got to a shade that I thought was closest, it was definitely still not a match, but it was close as I could get it. I started to take this little Deborah Lippmann tool I had. I thought it was easier than using the spatula that it came in, and essentially I pressed the compound into the cracks just to make sure that the cracks stick together. I didn't want to just be painting a layer of repair compound, because then I felt like you were just gluing the surface together, but in reality you need to glue the cracks together as well. Okay, so I finished applying it. You can still kind of see it's very streaky, but I need to wait for it to dry before I do anything else, so I will come back when this dries. All right, so it's been about an hour and it's not tacky anymore. It says to go over it with like a alcohol wipe. I don't have an alcohol wipe, so I'm just gonna use some gauze and my alcohol, my rubbing alcohol, so I can see if I could smooth it out. Okay, I do notice that there are some parts of it that is still kind of like open, so I'm gonna go back in there with some of this and reseal it. All right guys, back to present time. This is what it still looks like. Here's a close-up of what the handles look like now that it is August. It is literally months later, and this is the handle that I fixed. I didn't fix the other handle because there's nothing wrong with it, but this is what the handle looks like. You can see it's like discolored here. It's not exactly, but I honestly don't mind it because from far away you can't see the texture of it and you honestly can't even notice it. It's held up quite well. I just have like this weird, I guess it's like peeling. So you can see that there's like weird peeling happening right there. And that's the only thing that's really happened to it. This side is fine. It's just this side that has this like weird paint peeling. Overall, I think it did a good job on what it was supposed to do. I just wanted to also let you know that I do store it. It sits like this in a dust bag. So it's not like it sits out and it's being like exposed to light or anything like that. It literally sits out like this. Every time I'm done using it, I put it back in its dust bag. So overall, I do give the COCONIX product, like, it was a good like 7 out of 10. Like, it obviously didn't blend very well. It was kind of like sticky to use and it's not perfect, but it was a really easy fix and I think it was worth the, I think I paid like $30 for it. So I think it was a good little product to use to fix it. Structurally, it hasn't changed either. Like, I can still feel it's quite nicely binded. so I don't have any problems with that. But yeah, I've been using this thing. It's been rotating in my bag collection, especially now that it's summer. So I'm able to use it quite often because like it's such a cute little summer bag, right? I'm happy about how it's held up, and I hope it continues to hold up for me. And that way I do still have the COCONIX products. So if I do need to go back and touch it up, I definitely can. But yeah, I think it did a quite good job for $30, and for me just kind of like painting onto it. Like far away you really can't really tell that often, and especially if you're gonna wear it crossbody, like you really can't tell because the handles are flipped over like this. So I think it was a good 7 out of 10 product. I'm not telling you to do this, but I'm also just kind of sharing my experience. So honestly, this is like buy and do at your own risk. I'm not involved in whatever happens to the piece that you are trying to repair, but I think for an item that was $350 when I paid for it, just to help the, you know, handles here, it did quite a good job. If you have any other, I guess, recommendations for anyone else, leave them in the comments down below. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at _HelloHarley. Follow me on TikTok at HelloHarley, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!